Trekland HQ, and we are live. Better learn to govern our passions, Star Trek. Episode 336 today on Trekland Tuesdays live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland and Trekland Treks through Portal 47 and all the rest, bringing you some clarity, sanity, and a bigger picture in all things Star Trek. So how to do, everybody, for another Tuesday. Glad to be here with you again, live streaming in this amazing year of 2023. So much going on. Yes, it is the holidays right now. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good one. It is the time of year, I need to remind you, that right now we've got a great gift idea going over for the big Star Trek person on your list over at LarryNemechek.com. Check it out. It's our gift box idea. Yes, there, right there. You can actually give someone a gift box for under the tree, 6 months of Portal 47 for the price of 5, some swag, a gift card from Gene Roddenberry from 1990. It's kind of a cool deal. It's our most popular little offer ever. I do it now several years, and it's always great for a giver. Plus, we've got Canva and Cameo too. Just go to the webpage. It's all there, all right? Yes, it's that festive time of year. And it's also award season. And what's funny is lately, we've had some events that have been awesome for Star Trek. Good to see everybody popping in, by the way. But you know what? Before I get off on a tangent here, which is called the show, let me welcome everybody, and especially if you're watching us for the first time. Love to have new folks come in. We have a great community over here, the TTLers, so to speak, our chat community. Come in. They're around the world this time of day here in the States. We've got folks from around the globe. So come in and let us know where you're coming in from if you're new. It's okay if you're a lurker. It's okay if you've been a long-time lurker. Every once in a while I hear from somebody. But if you feel like jumping in with a comment, please do. Now, I'm going to talk for 30 minutes here, and then I'll pay attention to the chat. But you're free to go ahead and say howdy doos, give the weather report, see what's happening in your neck of the woods, Trek and otherwise. And look, here's the thing. Just remember, if you are on Facebook, you're only seeing Facebook comments. Supposedly, if you're on YouTube or Twitch, you're seeing all of them. And of course, if you're on YouTube, I much appreciate it if you throw in a super chat, and I will beeline to your question when I'm doing questions, looking for actual questions. So, hey. It's another week, another Tuesday, another week in Trekland, professional and my own. And yes, big news this week, as we expected, as was dripping out through the union's Strange New Worlds, is back shooting on stage. I mean, they've been in prep for a long time. And of course, the crews never had to go away during the strikes, but things were delayed. There was no point in getting ready for a show. They were actually a week away from filming back in May, early May, when the strike started. So it was more a case of getting the dust off and making some tweaks. You know, 7 months is a while, but yes, they're back at it. We had an Instagram, Davey Perez, friend Davey Perez, Chris Fisher, producing director, who else? Al McElroy was back in his office at least, and some fun stuff. So again, follow these folks on Instagram, folks, and you'll be among the first to know. So Strange New Worlds is filming. Section 31's movie, TV movie, small screen movie, is going to be filming the end of January for 6 weeks or so. So here we go. It's starting to feel a little more normal. But the other thing about this time of year is, yes, it's award season. And just breaking news last week, we were talking about the Critics' Choice Awards here in LA. And on the TV side, they nominated, what was it? Strange New Worlds was nominated for Best Drama Series. Lower Decks nominated for Best Animated Series, and Celia Rose Gooding for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama, playing Uhura, of course, on Strange New Worlds. And then within a couple of days of that, now look, I know this has been all over the interwebs, but just in case you missed out, and there's a couple of these that you did miss out on, I think. Well, here's the deal. How did you first find out? I was not in news gathering mode, and I saw the socials pop up. This is my point. I saw a whole slew, oh my gosh, 8 nominations for Strange New Worlds. How cool. How cool that interesting that the LA Critics Circle on their TV side nominated Picard for a whole slew. Meanwhile, on the Saturn Awards, which are voted by the Science Fiction Fantasy Academy, you can belong to that. It's different than the Hugos, but the Hugos and the Saturns are two big sci-fi genre awards. The Hugos, of course, are nominated and then voted by all the attendees at the World Science Fiction Convention every year. And some, as we've gone remotely, you have to buy in to be a buyer. But then it's a complicated process. But the Hugos have been around since the late 30s. Sci-fi has developed out from under them. And there's a lot more categories now, thank goodness, especially regarding media. Hugos, and these are the Saturns. Saturn's equally prestigious, and the Saturns are kind of based in LA, in the entertainment community. This year, the interwebs blow up about a week ago, or a little less, with 8 nominations, which is almost a record, but it was amazing. The 8 nominations I saw all over the place. It was incredible. So they were nominated for Best Science Fiction Television Series, Strange New Worlds. Anson Mount was nominated for Best Actor in a Television Series, lead actor considerably. And then Best Supporting Actor, Ethan Peck. Then Supporting Actress in a TV Series, Jess Bush and Celia Rose. So they're competing against each other in the same category. Paul Wesley in the Best Guest Star in a Television Series. I saw all that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It was almost a day or two. Maybe just a day. Maybe the flood felt like forever. The next day, I wasn't even thinking. I'm thinking categories, deadlines, who knows? We had a strike. We've had delays. I'm not keeping up. And then the next day, I see it's not that 8 nominations for Strange New Worlds. I'm sorry. It's not that it was Strange New Worlds was 6, but it was Picard had 7. Picard had 7. What I'm getting to, everybody, is I saw everybody rushing out to ballyhoo the nominations for each show. And yeah, Picard had 7. I'm sure I saw Picard with 7. What it boils down to is it took a while to see news announcements with the combined news. Everything was segregated. What it means in the real world and what we're waiting for, because the Saturns are going to be out in February. They're going to have the actual show. They're competing against each other. Our 2 current shows, one retired, and with a big ballyhoo campaign for the sequel to that show, right? Star Trek Legacy. And then Strange New Worlds, which is now the flagship with Discovery going down and Starfleet Academy way off, and who knows with Section 31. Strange New Worlds is the tentpole show right now. Discovery is yet to air, but it's done. Its crew's pretty much moved on to one of the other Toronto shows, if they've moved on with Trek at all. What this means, though, is we've got Picard and Strange New Worlds competing against each other with other nominees, with Silo the Peripheral, Mandalorian, Foundation, and Andor in Best Science Fiction TV Series. And they slice that to horror and fantasy and all the rest. Lower Decks. Did anybody mention Lower Decks for a Saturn? Yes, Lower Decks animated series nomination. Best Actor in a TV Series is not just Anson, it's also Sir Patrick. Supporting Actor, yes, Jonathan for Picard, Ed Speleers for Picard as Jack Crusher, and Todd Stashwick for Picard, plus Ethan. We've got 4 of the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 of the 7 in supporting actor in a series are going to be Star Trek. They're all in there together. Supporting actress, Jess Bush, Celia Rose, and Jerry Ryan as supporting actress. Guest star, Amanda Plummer, right, playing Vadic on Picard, and Paul Wesley on Strange New Worlds. And that's all wonderful and great. And look at all the Star Trek representation. But 2 things. One, again, I got segregated announcements on my socials. And that was not from the studios would always be tooting the horn of everybody. I guess what I'm saying is that was the fan bases. I'd never been struck by when it's totally good news and not individual promotion or individual critiquing, when it's an across-the-board story. I'd never seen the news segregated like that before. And it got me to thinking. I'd been totally in the thrall of the Picard ballyhoo for their nominations, and then to find out Strange New Worlds. Or was it the other way around? I'm just saying everything was segregated. What's amazing to me is at the end of the day, I finally saw the news, and congrats to Paul and Mike and Darren and their team, that the Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition 4K edition was just nominated for the best 4K home media release against Adventures of Baron Munchausen, Exorcist 50th Anniversary, Cujo, John Wick Chapter 4, Needful Things, and To Live and Die in LA. I mean, come on. Just give it to Motion Picture already. I hope the voters know what an amazing... I mean, of all of these other titles, I don't know if anybody knows that this release, as it continued to be tweaked over the years, fundamentally changed everything we've ever said about it for 40, 50 years, including myself. It's like the not just the motion picture that we wished we'd seen in December 79 and all these years. It's like a brand new movie. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in many ways, it's like a brand new movie, because everything you used to say about it, everything you used to kid about it, is a moot point. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just make sure when you're watching it on streaming or whatever, whenever you see it, that you're getting the 4K Director's Edition, and not even the one that released a couple years ago, not even the one that released 20 years ago, Director's Edition. No, it's this greater conversation in the midst of all this yay and hoopla and celebration. It threw me because I was remembering back in the Passion Point, and here's our title, kids. In fact, by the way, I hope you remember your line from The Wrath of Khan, Dr. McCoy. You must learn to govern your passions. They will be the death of you. We're talking about the Genesis device, the first wave of emotion. And of course, Spock and McCoy are falling on the big screen, are falling into their little niches. And it was fun to watch big screen again. Those monster maroons are looking just lovely. But as weird as it sounds for me to say that to fandom, of course you're passionate about Star Trek. Of course, we would not be here 60 years later if people every step of the way from day one in the 60s, if first fandom on through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and if people had not been passionate, if fans had not been passionate about Star Trek, because it meant so much to them, because it gave them a window on the world, it gave them what the real world wasn't giving them, whether that was politically and socially. And yes, Star Trek has always been woke, if you want to word it that way. And also individually, what they got from the character of Spock, what they got from the diversity they saw on screen, what they got from what they perceived all the different characters brought from the original crew all the way through. Everybody has been able to take so much from Star Trek. And yeah, if you just want to be there with your adventure, rip-roaring times and mind-bending ideas and depictions of future tech, whatever it is, all the ways that have been documented that people talk about why they love Trek. But what that means, the bottom line is, whatever it is that's got you hooked, or hooked your parents, or is hooking your kids right now, or your grandparents, whatever it was, it would be nothing without passion. We all have our favorites. We all have favorite books, favorite movies, TV shows, songs, bands, what creators of any kind. And we like them, and life moves on. We move away. People moved away from Star Trek for life. A lot of them have circled back now. A lot of them have got a second generation, a third generation they're responsible for, and they want to sit down and return the favor. They want to pass it on. But the common line here is passion. But I'm going to quote another classic line, even all the way back to Trouble with Troubles. Lieutenant, too much of anything, even love, is not always a good thing. And the reason I get into this was I had a little tripwire when I saw these awards come through the social media sphere, the social media filter. And different fans basically trumpeting, screaming with joy about the nominations of their show, and no follow-up, no mention of the other show. Now, I don't want to be making a mountain out of a molehill here. But there have been times, be careful what you wish for, Lieutenant, you may get it. There have been times here when the great comeback from the dark days of just Discovery and the controversy of the week and dropping the F-bomb on Picard, all the disappointments that a lot of fans felt, the fans who were thrilled to have the shows variously, both, either one, had a hard time putting up with those fans who, and I don't mean obvious bots and obvious trolls, but the people who had criticisms. Now, as long as it was civil, it's all valid. And some people did, yes, get over the top. This is the story of the last, oh my God, 6 years now, about to be 7. I would always try, up until the very nth degree, to defend those people. I won't defend uncivil behavior. I won't defend hate. But because if nothing else, you want to have a conversation, you want to shut it down. Now, look, this is a tone that's out in the real world. It's in politics. God, it's even infected our passions, though, like sports, like our sci-fi, like our Star Trek. People have forgotten, or we've had a generation raised who are not that civil, or we've had a quick generation, all of us, thrown into the ways of social media, and bridging what we would never do face to face pops out online. But I will say, though, that a ton of people who have problems, disagreements, criticisms just aren't. They might be better face to face, and they might not be as adept at expressing themselves in words. Not to excuse the most egregious of the behavior, but that's a human thing. The point is, it's Star Trek, and in our neck of the woods, it wouldn't have happened if people weren't passionate about it. And again, I'm excluding the 5 to 10% of everything online that came from a bot or a troll. Somebody paid, wherever they were coming from, Macedonia or some corner of St. Petersburg or wherever they were coming from. Because a lot of people are passionate. And the last few years, the passion has turned positive. People have been positively raving about Anson Mount and all of his crew on Discovery, and for a spinoff, yay. And then people have been so passionate about what Terry Matalas, happy birthday, belated Terry, from Monday, what Terry and the crew wound up doing, evolving Picard, starting in second season and even in third season, with giving people, well, they gave themselves what they wanted to see. It just so happened that aligned with what so many people wanted to see. Not only giving a memorable 10-episode season, but setting up what everybody dubs hashtag Star Trek Legacy, to the point where, of course, there are movements, there's hashtagging, there's campaigns to bring Legacy back. And that's awesome. It's so awesome that the whole tilt of Star Trek and its fandom, for the most part, has flipped over to being positive, considering where we started 5-6 years ago. And again, a lot of that is just heartfelt disappointment, rustiness at seeing Star Trek, sophistication. We've seen the reaction to the animated series flop too, from just skepticism to a little wobbly to, oh my God, people are in love with Lower Decks. And now that Your Christmas Gift is coming back. Yeah. Prodigy on Netflix starting Christmas Day. So there's been an evolution here. And I'm not saying get rid of the passion. And I'm not saying I'm signing up with Spock on this, heaven forbid. And not saying that I'm giving up on my dear Dr. McCoy's position in things. But sometimes a little too much can go a long way. And I'm just saying, remembering the times at the peak of the Star Trek Legacy campaign, for one, as much as I want to see it too, there's a reality out there of an assembly line and a timing overlapping with the very moment that the streaming industry is trying to figure itself out. And at the very moment, as we saw last week, where Paramount Plus is figuring out, and Paramount Global is figuring out what the shape of the very business model and the model is. And will they be overtaken? Will they be taken over by bosses who are not as into the... What I'm saying here is, maybe sometimes, as seen by the separate but equal rollouts, actually they weren't equal. Secret by fans of these nominations, just remember that sometimes, as amazing as it sounds, a little too much praise, a little too much passion might, what do I say here, boomerang. We have to make sure that the family is doing well. And as much as that goes against the grain of some people saying, this is my favorite, I don't care about the other. It's not new. As weird as this sounds, we had that in the DS9 Voyager days. We had it in the TNG DS9 startup and then the DS9 Voyager days. The sad thing back then was, A, we didn't have social media to amplify it. And B, as the ratings declined, some of the powers were just happy to have anybody excited about anything. But yeah, there was a little bit of division there. It didn't feel quite as animated. And I'm just going to say that's without the amplification of social media. That was more one-to-one personal meetings. And then, yeah, in your written letters and your written fanzines and fan newsletters and club doings and all of that. Old, totally preschool, maybe on a message board, pre-social media, you got into those debates. But everything was still slower and low-key, and I know that social media and immediacy 24/7 has amped some of this up. Excuse me. We're live. I'm just going to say, all this came to mind again when I saw fandom present their favorites nominated two different ways. Not as a split tweet or a split post, but like no mentions. And I get it. I'm not going to be the fandom passion police. But I'm just saying, remember that there is a whole franchise here. And remember kind of where the world is. And remember that just as it felt like the other day, 2018 and the explosion of Pike and Ensign Mount and all things on Discovery, that world is not the world we live in today. So I'm not trying to rebuke at all the legacy campaign. Of course, it's good to let them know. It's good to keep it top of mind. I'm just saying that it's a different world and we've got the rest going here. Same point among the fandom, the Strange New World folks don't need to take it back and reflect it back on the legacy folks. If you're championing one over the other, of course, I would say let's not have a false choice. Let's champion everything. The way I said at the beginning of Discovery, people wanted to take it out and start over. It's like, no, that's not the way it works. If you get rid of Discovery, you've just set back Star Trek for 10 or 15 years. There won't be a plan B. It's not written in the Constitution. Well, heaven forbid, the Constitution looks pretty fragile these days. But there's no law that there will always be a Star Trek. We just lived through 12 years of that, weekly Star Trek especially. So it just comes to mind that passion sometimes can get in the way, even though it's a good thing. We just need to keep, when you put the blinders on your passion, all you're channeling is your joy. Just make sure you don't bump into somebody else. Just make sure that you're not, stepping on somebody else's toes. In fact, a lot of you see this behind me every week. I had to pay for it myself. I just ordered a long sleeve. I realized they didn't have a long sleeve version of my hashtag stack. So from TeePublic, got it on sale. I just ordered a long sleeve version. Whoa, there we go. Yeah, I got it on sale, which the sale is back. See the hashtag stack? Oh, look, it's a Trekwell. It's a long sleeve Trekwell. The heart of these hashtags, well, Trekwell is an overall greeting. That was what I came up with. But let me show you something. The hashtag stack here. Some of these, I try to offer them as maybe some solace, maybe some therapy for what is ailing fandom. I never thought of this collectively. They just kind of sprung up as I would talk. When I kind of evolved, and I don't want to be away from it, but when I went away from just a fact checker or a fact recorder or a voice recorder of Star Trek creators, or a canon organizer when we're doing concordances and getting our factoids down. Way before the years you could make a whole Twitter account out of it. These are the answers I came up with to nullify people in their passion getting themselves tied up in knots. That to me is the downside of passion. You can be disappointed, you can be heartbroken, you can be angry, you can be anxious. And I don't want to sound too much here like a lesson out of Life Sport Live in the old days with Dr. Ali on Saturday mornings here, but it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of letting your passion for the thing you love, well, get the better of you at times. So yeah, texture not trivia. If you are so upset that they got something wrong, well, maybe look at it as nothing is perfect. Nothing is poured out of a plastic mold, whether it's people or situations or historical facts. You know, maybe you've just watched the exception to the rule. Maybe you just saw the bit that goes against the grain. You know, they say the best drama has a little bit of comedy going the other direction. The best comedy has a little bit of drama and pathos to it. It's not all one or the other. That's what leads us to falsity, whether it's the drama of the moment or maybe even the creation of the universe. Nothing is perfect and uniform in this planet. I know that for sure. But that's a case of, you know, something, it's a safety valve for that passion that otherwise might lead you to really that spectrum of anywhere from anxiety to sadness to grief to anger. The 7 steps of #therapy for Star Trek. I don't know. Use the universe is my answer to people say it's fan service. It's fan service. Or when people shy away from making those connections because they don't want to be labeled as fan service, or whether they're just not that knowledgeable to begin with. It's okay to use the universe. Just don't make it too small. We went from having to say this to now it's like, okay, slack off a little. Don't small the universe. Canon in a vacuum is canon that we have from other sources besides screen. Again, these are all things to temper your reaction to something, to see the positive. Because if it's a reaction to something you're watching, then it's out there. It's up to you to adjust and adapt. Not so much the screen folks. Unless your way of adapting is to wait until the guard changes and one of them does something about it later. And I'm looking at you ripping out the hall of viewers. And Prime is not hard. Canon is not scary. It's all reactions to people who either prefer story over canon, or their eyes cross, or you're talking to a creative, or you're talking to a fan who says, I don't care about the canon. I just want to watch the characters and enjoy the stories. Well, you can soften the blow there. I mean, I really didn't think about my hashtags here. It's just what's developed over the years, over the 15, 20 years of being as much a pundit as a journalist. And it just struck me thinking about the weird way that I came across the announcements of awards before I went to look for the news story, just watching the wave of excitement hit from social media, that some of those might apply. And now I'm looking at them going, oh, well, these could have been therapeutic tools. I'll have to get Ollie a memo. I don't know. I just saw this, and it's my caution, again, not to dampen anyone's enthusiasm, but just remember that if you have a relentless campaign, we're not in a vacuum here. It's not a one series world, and we're not saving the original series again. It's not a binary choice. It's not X's and O's, pluses and minuses. We're in a multiverse here of series that are in all different time periods, all different approaches and tones, and people are now savvy to see that. But there's a reality that's going to happen. And we're all operating in a new vacuum here where we don't know what the ultimate fate of the streaming shakedown is going to be. So, support your shows, of course. Go fight and campaign for them as much as you can, but don't forget your brothers and sisters. And don't forget that ultimately, this is not one person making a decision. This is not 2 people, 3 people. This is a culture, a financial culture, in an evolving pop culture cauldron here, a beaker of what's happening, the way it always is. the way it always is. I would just say that we have so many more chances and opportunities for dramatic podcasts, for one-off streaming TV movies. We have short series. We could have lab theater again with short treks. It's a much more diverse world, and we should be thankful that we've got those kind of options, and not as much ironclad business model of what a series is, and it's either a series or a movie. We've got the choices and the options now. So have your passions. Just it might be time, Dr. McCoy, to learn to govern them. And meanwhile, of course, keep celebrating everything that you love in a healthy way. All right. Hey, everybody, that's going to do for today. Sometimes you never know where these ideas are going to come from. And I was just so struck by the way I learned about the Saturn Awards from completely different camps. It was funny. But I do want to remind everybody that, yes, I needed a long sleeve Trek Well shirt. Misspoke. But the TeePublic sale across all of TeePublic stores, you should go look. You might see something else. But our Trekland TeePublic shop, the sale, the 35% off sale is going through December 18th. But tomorrow, for everybody watching live, tomorrow, December 13th, is the last guarantee day to get it before Christmas, if that's a thing for you. And just to remind everybody, they don't just have t-shirts. It's not just t-shirts and hoodies and all that. I mean, they have, we've got computer covers. That's what this is. It's a great prop too, by the way. And of course, not just the hashtags. Here's a Trekland Treks. If you've ever been on the Treks and you want to, no, they've got things like they've got there's the drinking game from Life Support Live. They've got these travel mugs. That's cool. Everything is on sale. They have papers and stickers and magnets and all that. They have tote bags. They have these cute, Trekland Trek. They have these cute pillows. I have a few things here. But it's all good. We don't have to carry anything. It's all, on demand, the way the modern world is. But again, the TeePublic sale on all the stores, not just mine, is through the 18th. But the get it by Christmas deadline is tomorrow, Wednesday the 13th. All right. Just a quick reminder there. And before we take our little short break here and jump over to see the chat, I just want to say hi to all the folks watching us later, not live, on YouTube. Glad to have you with us there. And if you enjoyed what I'm talking about, if any of this strikes a nerve, rings a bell, please leave a comment. Love to see you there. And, of course, subscribe. Ring the bell, do all the things. Now, if you ever get the chance, and as we move into the holidays, maybe you've got some time on a Tuesday, check us out live right here. And you can comment with the live stream folks right here at the time. And speaking of those live stream folks, a lot of them are very supportive Patreon folk, our TTL club. Want to give them a shout out. Diana Hopkins, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne-Marie Siegel, Justin Porteous, Glenda Bruton, Chris Jiggins, Pranakasha Productions, Comedy Forecast, and Andrew Jazemski. And also we've got our live wires. You'll see what I mean. Robert McLean, Byron Bailey, J.R. Poole, Halbert Gunnjonsen, Alan Hoensi, Dave Gregory, Tobias Rex, Donna S. Runyon, and Kay Sushevsky. Yeah, Patreon. You can go and support creators that are doing projects or just on an ongoing basis. Myself, moi, since I started it, I've got a very simple Patreon. It's just $5 and $10. Thank you for the shout outs. And I'm about to sit down and do another batch of first generation Portal 47 backstage creatives interviews as the little extra perk for the $10 folk. Of course, you can do more if you like. Just let me know. It's patreon.com/Trekland Live. We're coming down. Well, we're at mid-month. They do that at the end of the month. They collect it. And we've slowly been growing our little empire here at Trekland Media. So much appreciated to all of our Patreon folk. And as it gets to the holidays, think about coming to LA, where 90% of Star Trek's been filmed. Well, the location sites are around too. And they're just as cool as going to like the film stages for the original series, soon to be next gen, up in Ticonderoga. That licensed tour, very awesome. But all of these folks that are outdoors, all these sites that are other buildings from original series onward are awesome to go to too. I have a panel. It's called Beyond Vasquez. There's a lot more besides Vasquez Rocks. TreklandTreks.com. I'll work with you on the day you're in town. You, your partner, your family, whatever, your group. We can do small groups in a van, whatever. When it's your time, get with me in advance. We will work it out. Your customized away mission. 4 stops, quick lunch. I will pick you up, handle all the details, and it'll be an awesome day, including your cosplay, including your photography, whatever you want to do. All right. And of course, the Trek Files. It's a Tuesday. It's a Trek Files new. Today, if the release is already up every week on a Tuesday, this week, the new show is up. And we are looking at some more animated series pitches from writers with my guest, the great Aaron Harvey, co-author of the Animated Guide to Star Trek, the official guide. So we're having a lot of fun with not random writers, but 2 names you will know whose pitches were rejected for the animated series. Don't want to miss that. On Facebook, anywhere your podcasts are caught is the Trek Files, but the documents are on our Facebook page. All right. So if you're leaving us now, just thank you. Here's where you can catch me, Larry Nemechek on Twitter, X still, Larry Nemechek's Trekland. Again, subscribe on YouTube, also Instagram, and Facebook still. And Porter47.net. I have a simple Patreon because I just say if you want to help support what we're doing, just jump in with the Portales and deep dive yourself a whole new degree and join Portal47.net. Those gift ideas, Santa won't mind if you get yourself a present too. You can do a great deal on a 6-month or even a 12-month right now and get some bonus extras too. That's all at the gift at LarryNemechek.com. And as we say goodbye today, I'll just leave you. It's crazy out there. Stay safe as you're holidaying around, okay? Do all the things. Stay woke. It doesn't let up for a moment. Check the sources of what you come across if it seems bizarre. And trek well, everybody. Okay. Oh, I need a drink. So how's the chat doing, gang? Let's see who's up today. Are we suffering from holiday fatigue already or holiday craziness? Who all's in with us? It's good to say hi. I see all the howdy doos. Okay. One tube to rule them all. That's cute, Dave. Okay. Oh, thank you, Christoph, for the update. For all 3 people who are ever on Twitch and care, there we go. The commentating is back, so yay. All righty. Let's see. Okay, we got Duralta in from Germany, and we've got Christoph in from Austria. And Sean is here. Make sure not to associate with a past host, so your symbols will be down. Okay. I know, Glenn, right? In fact, on that tally, now that's about keeping score, but was it Picard had 8, Strange New had 7, and Andor had 5. Just saying. Just see it. Ed Spillers might be a decent actor, but in no way can he convince me he's 20. You know, Jack Crusher had a rough life. It's really not fair how his life just aged him all to pieces. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, the other thing is we're in anniversary season. I might save this for next week. We're in anniversary season once again. So happy 25 to Insurrection. That's amazing. 1/4 of a century for Michael. Yeah. Hey, Don. Yes, another week of people we have lost. Ryan, Norman Lear. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Everybody having fun here. I've recoiled. Hey, Don. See, this is what I mean. You are more hyped about season 2 of Prodigy on Netflix than the final season of Discovery on Paramount Plus. I'm not gonna say you're alone, but you know what? I stumbled into I don't remember now if it was Facebook, Instagram, um, wasn't X, somewhere, might have even been Reddit somewhere, where it was a very, I don't want to say they were pro Discovery, they were just Discovery fans. It's like they weren't competing against anything else. And they were all mourning about being canceled after 5 seasons, having to be the brunt of Be the Old Baby, the old one in the room, and sacrificed for the others. But how they were excited to see the 5th season said, but they just went on and on and on. And it was like nobody, there was no holding back. There was no ill will spoken of the other shows, but just really mourning the end of Discovery. And it was great to see that encapsulated online. I wish I had saved that because it just shows the biggest thing we have to guard against is just letting our blinders take over. Just coming along in our own channel, in our own rut with our own friends in the same channel, in the same bubble. And we forget that there's a world out there of other people that they don't just think differently about the things we're thinking about. They're thinking about completely different things. And for all the Sturm and Drang about the Discovery pushback and criticisms and all of it, a lot of it very sincere, it's just as mindful of not realizing that DS9 was going to take off to the popularity that it holds today, back in the day. Same thing with Voyager. All people could see were declining numbers and less people going to conventions and, all those outlets. But little kids, they don't have money. They're not going to conventions, but they're soaking up reruns every day. And then in 10 or 15, 20 years, there's a long fuse. There's a long growth factor there to when that little caterpillar blossoms into the butterfly of a fandom that's much bigger than it was even in first run. I mean, we are talking about Star Trek here. What happened with the original series? So I just sometimes we grow up with that, and then we don't realize when the years have passed and the new Treks come along, and the same thing is happening elsewhere. And we assume, just like the original series people assumed, that Next Generation was going to fall apart. A lot of them did. A lot of them didn't care. But some folks were just incensed that you're slapping Star Trek on this thing and expect us to take it. These interlopers, these fakers. Talk about the worst is always the first generation, right? To have to get on from their parents, in the minds of fans anyway. And yeah, I found a column, a thread of completely unaware to the outside world Discovery fans just talking. They didn't have to apologize. They didn't have to defend. They didn't have to fight. They were just mourning on their own without a care in the world, that I stumbled in and was looking at it with amazed eyes, because it's great to find it. But I also know it was hardly the only one. That's happening all over the interwebs. It's just maybe they're not in a place where you are. Maybe the new kids on the block don't know to go hang out at X, Y, and Z, or X, Instagram, and Facebook. But it's always something to remember, and it's something I try to keep in mind, and I fall victim to it too at times. But there's times when I want to go collect data, I want to go collect demographics, and I'm hamstrung by knowing how to do it, or do it on a shoestring. That's why I'm so amazed at the Greatest Generation's podcast audience and their tour. So Adam and Benjamin's live tour, I go to see their audience. There's 200, 300 people there. I've never met them before around LA fandom. They're totally not the join a club, go to the con end of Star Trek fandom. And I love that. It's the secret hidden half of fandom they've tapped into. All right. Well, that went down a couple of rabbit holes, didn't it? Analysis. I hope this generated some response further down. Why do some fans get mad at Star Trek and other media for being woke? It seems to me some of these fans that became more conservative. Oh yeah, this is a thing I first noticed this in the 80s during Reagan's time. Yeah. Why? Well, they just get something different out of it, which is good. That's what you call universal appeal, and we're hardly all poured out of the same mold ourselves. Yeah. This "can we save them? Can we" is cute. Okay, I missed that. Yeah, it's people who haven't been taught to be polite and social on social media. I think, we've only been at this for 10, 15 years, That's why it took so long for the cancer of the algorithms to catch up. It used to just be, I say this all the time, Facebook was the fun way you track down your graduating class and you talk to your grandma across the country. It was a great way to find people and unify and stay in touch with them. It was only years later that we figured out the evil algorithms were just magnetizing negativity to the point where it wasn't just us and our lives, it was the culture and the politics and the world and the lack of transparency, right? Sourcing. It's the AI took over in an early generation there before we were aware of it. Yeah, this is sad. The Playmates figures got canceled. No chance of getting another. Well, never say never. Things happen, and they'll be out there on the old ones will be out there on the collector's market for ages. I am the very model of a modern major business. Yeah. There you go, Don. Prodigy's your number one. Wait, what? The sale of Paramount Viacom to Redbird. What? No. Yeah. You miss message boards analysis. Okay. Thank you for the Gesundheits, everybody. No, I hadn't, Carl, but then I wasn't looking. So if it hadn't splashed a headline, what I know was kind of up to the moment last week. Are you saying Redbird and not? Are you saying Redbird, not Redstone? Hey, Justin. In your opinion, there'll be no decisions on any Trek until Sherry decides whether to sell off Paramount or not. Well, yeah, whether to sell any more pieces of it. CBS differentiates from Paramount, whatever. Well, there you go, comedy forecast, and there you go. Yes, you're an OG fan and you've been through several droughts. I hear you, brother. I hear you. We the old timers will value it because you remember the lull periods. You remember the fallow times, as I called 05 to 17. Yeah, see, the thing, Duralta, is it's easy to see this now in hindsight, but in all those times, first time they had to reinvent the wheel. Nothing like that had been done before. And then you had an 18-year run on small screen, and people proclaimed Star Trek dead, which was stupid at the time. As much as Hollywood never lets anything die and drags everything back to be reanimated again. We're not saving the original series again. Me, thank goodness my writing hand is tired. Yeah. Oh, there you go. They've got their crew caps. I hadn't seen that, but there you go, Christoph. Well, the fan film community is much smaller and intense, and not just because of the Paramount rules, but because the oxygen is out of the room. When there was no studio Star Trek, people were hungry, hungry, hungry. Now you've got 2 and 3 and 4 whatever series to catch up with and watch, and people just aren't, the bandwidth isn't there financially and attention wise. You're more hyped about new seasons of Lower Decks and Strange New than the final season Discovery as well. Yeah. It's someday we're going to see numbers about things. Yep. Hashtag ambassador of Star Trek. Okay. Not sure. Did I jump into something there in the middle, David? Not sure what that was. Hey, Jerry from Michigan dropping in. Yes. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Did we talk at one of the library tours or that weird little YouTube convention I was at one point? Or even Starbase Indy one of the years? You have to refresh me, Jerry. But I know you've been with us here on Tuesdays before. I'm just thinking about live. Lead up. Yes, Melanie. Hey, Melanie, how soon until your Chamber of Commerce puts up a future home of, till we get the Janeway statue and the Kirk plaque and we get the Spock statue? How soon till we get Brad Boimler's statue in Modesto? You can save a lot of money. It can just be a metal sign. It can be 2D. Although I guess they'll do a statue of, yeah. Actual question. Yes, I have to get the announcements out. Yes, Christoph, tomorrow night, I think it was tomorrow noon, but yes, tomorrow is European midday Ask Dr. Trek Roundtable. Let's see. What now? Are you bringing the away mission members always the same restaurant, or are there several that you can recommend? What are we talking about, Doralta? Not quite sure I understand. Hi, Claire. Trekwell. Yeah, I know. I wanted to start defending my phrases. When I saw the Viacom divorce start to become generic, I was like, whoa. That was me in 06, in 05, in 06. Yeah. So if nobody's answered you, Melanie, it's Christmas Day on Netflix. Prodigy debuts season 1. Season 2 will debut next year sometime. Let's see. There you go. The ever helpful Christoph is giving you the news there. Have you seen people working in the coal mine? They look old. This is what I mean. Think how on the run he's had to be his whole life. Oh, look at this. Comedy. You remember being first in line to see Stark Motion Picture on 12/7/79, collecting one from everybody in our Star Trek club. I plopped down the cash for about 25 tickets. Yeah. So that was what? You had, what was the ticket? $3? You had eight people, 5 people at 5? I don't know. Hey, Sean. Now what? If you get a chance, watch the latest Doctor Who. Neil Patrick Harris played this Q-like trickster, and he was simply amazing. Would love to see him as a Q after that performance. He doesn't want to be typecast. There you go. Don, this was a feeling I saw in that thread I was watching. They thought that Discovery ruined when it jumped ahead to the future. I thought it saved the show, but yeah. Hello, Sydney. Glad you could join us again. Yay. Now what, Glenn? Are you serious here? The biggest problem with new shows is that there's so much time in between seasons that you've completely forgotten everything that happened in the previous years. Maybe that's part of the plan. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It is annoying. It's been so long between the seasons that the actors and the writers and creatives forget what they did. Forget the detail. It's very frustrating. Now, what? You watched Blu-ray number 3 of Prodigy, beginning with the one with the whale, ending with the one with Janeway being knocked out. Oh, and the Borg episode was amazing. Yeah, it was. Prodigy might have had a slow start, and I mean slow as in, not slow as in, oh my God, this is badly paid, but they weren't throwing a lot at you. They were just letting you meet everybody. But then by the second 10, by the end of the first 10 and then by the second 10, it was a wham bam a week, an episode, all over the place. Well, this is interesting, Sean. Star Trek should be judged by different metrics. Reruns are a thing, and we know Trek will be watched for decades after. You mean different metrics than other series, or different metrics across its own series? But yes. I have not yet seen the Doctor Who specials. I need to watch them. Hey, Claire, you are very much looking forward to Section 31. Yeah. Wait, what? BBC decided that Doctor Who is exclusively on Disney outside the UK and Ireland? And we don't have iPlayer in Ireland. So you're the only country where you cannot watch it legally other than live. Huh. Okay. This is a good thing to do. You never forget your first Trek. Don't ever insult anybody's first Trek, which every Trek is somebody's first Trek. That was a valuable lesson to learn with the Kelvin movies. When you had the righteous mob, I had my problems with the Kelvin movies, but once that ship sailed, you can drive yourself crazy. You have to slot it away and put it in the best box possible. Oh, Changeling test named for Dex hosts. Fred, Barney, Wilma, and Betty. I named them. I will have to take a look at this. I mean, I have the basic idea, Sean. Steve Shives has a great video on why conservatives like Star Trek. Mm-hmm. This is true. I mean, it's been a cyclical thing about how we respond online versus live, but the online drags down what the live encounter is. You need to know how Grudge is doing. I wonder if Grudge is back has Grudge been in any of the clips? Now that you say that, your number 1 Golden Age Trek is also your number 1 overall Trek, Next Generation. Not alone there. Have a few backup. I could set up a Discord as a message board of sorts. We tried to do that for the Trek Files because Trek Files has rotten community, and I'd like to and I want to. I just can't get into Discord and make myself go over there and spend it. I need a team to help run that. And I'll say that some things may be afoot. Lots of the Mission Log Roddenberry folks are all John and Norm, and their huge community are over there. There's a huge Discord for the Shuttle Pod show. There's Discords for, I know they have, I think they have Discords, like I think Ryan and all the bunch at Seventh Rule have a Discord, I think. Myself and I just can't get into Discord without help. But it's there. You don't care if Trek gets sold as long as it doesn't get sold whole, as long as it gets sold whole. And this is what I said last week. Hopefully they won't sell CBS or they won't leave the TV rights with CBS. If CBS goes off separately, they need to carve out the TV rights to TV Trek and keep TV Trek and the movies Trek. So we don't go back that 12 years of having the weird, trying to downplay it, but having the weird jumping through hoops that was. Yeah, we are still in it. Even with the kind of shrinkage of the series, we're still in a Trek renaissance. Absolutely. Sean, I'm really sorry that your dad lost yours in a move. Grudge runs an interplanetary YouTube channel showing cat videos from different planets. Well, I'm good to see it. Everybody's entrepreneuring. Everybody is on the tube. But yes, I'm so. Hey, Rose. Good evening. Hello, TTO. Will I have a show the 26th of December? I'm not sure yet, Rose. I do know that there's a Trek Files for the 26th of December. In fact, don't tell anybody, but it's our 250th Trek Files episode is going to be the 26th of December for its drop with a very special guest that I should start promoting, but that's the deal. Thank you, Christoph. On the Skydance Redbird Paramount Global rumors, I had not paid attention this week. My attention has had to go elsewhere on 4 or 5 different fronts. Well, we're at a time when everybody values IP and franchises. That was not a concept the first go around because it wasn't a franchise. It had to prove itself. The numbers had to show up, and they did, finally. And then it had to get over the first movie, and then we had movies, and then we had to get into what do we do when these guys get too old to do more movies, and we got over that and showed the way. And pretty much since TNG, you would think it was a franchise. The end of the Berman era was as much this feeling of fatigue. But now that was before we had 24/7 media and 1 billion cable channels and disposable media and all of this infrastructure now. So I read about the DC universe being retired or, how long will that last if it's so? It'll just be different people running it. Nobody looks at this as like, oh, we're going to have 10, 15, 20-year lapses in franchises now. You'd be fired for running any kind of media empire if you actually thought about 20-year gaps. Now, sometimes things just fall through the cracks. I see there's going to be a Taxi reunion special. So sometimes things happen. But let's see. I think we're in a different environment. We're in a different paradigm now, the way people look at franchises that way. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. I had not been able to dig into that the last few days. Oh, I see, David. Thank you. Ambassador of Star Trek was a comment about being not so narrowly focused on one. We have to support all Trek. Supporting all Trek is not the same thing as having a favorite. This is a point. And some people think, I don't know. It's like, no, but it's like the people that wanted to kill Discovery at the beginning and get something new. It's like, no, it'll just go away. It's too fragile right now. I was amazed. Have I heard anything more about a Subspace Rhapsody vinyl release? No, I'm not the hotbed for that, Rocky O, and not that's not on my mind all the time, but I know it is for lots of people. And if there was ever a thing to do a limited edition vinyl pressing of, it would be Subspace Rhapsody. This is true. Don. The 26th for the rest of the world is the day, Boxing Day, UK and Canada. Are you saying that I should or that I shouldn't think about doing a show on the 26th then? That it would be a negative or a positive? I'd lose people or I might gain people? Or you're just throwing the factoid out there? Well, this is the thing, Sean. It was always amazing to me how Firefly had a fandom that didn't support the movie, and you never got anything again. But there was Firefly product for years, and cool. There was cool, obscure. QMX did amazing things with the fan film, with the Firefly license for years. Talk about the merch exceeding the fan base. And yeah, it's a maddening that Star Trek doesn't have more merch for the size of its fan base. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, 100 years of Star Trek, the centennial of Star Trek. Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Do you think that Larry would be the host? Well, hey, sure, why not? Sure not. Oh, very good, Christoph. Maybe Alice will host that. Well, we'll see. Nothing would surprise me with that girl. Can't wait for a season. I've got Cadet Alice shows to post. I need to get on with that. Oh, I see, Duralta. You're talking about when... No. What I often try to do is take people, if they're not from California, I try to take them through an in and out because it's quick and it's distinctly Californian in LA. But no, I don't have a specific deal with... If I had more traffic and more volume, that might be worth it. But no, there's no... I have the suggestions, and then of course it varies by what our route is, because each person comes in wanting to go to 4 places, and depending on what they're wanting to do and what we eventually help them work out that's doable, then we look to see what makes sense for a lunch stop. But thanks for asking. That's the thing. Yes, we were just talking about this. I saw... Was it Aaron a couple of weeks ago or someone else? We were talking about this very thing. It's the forbidden fruit. The cancellation silver lining was that so many more people paid attention to it. Very true. 15th Doctor Who will hit your screens on Christmas Day as well. Could just be failing eyesight, though, Glenn. Oh, Sean, different metrics to other shows series, right? Trek is still selling merch from 30-year-old films and Blu-rays and cons 20 minutes after a Fast and Furious comes out. It's gone from the world. Yeah. The definition of a franchise is so varied. I'll just say that. The early days of James Bond, you had all the gimmicks and the spy stuff and the kids things, and you'd have action sets with road race cars, but you had all the spy kits, with the I remember when I was a kid, the first Dr. No and Thunderball. Not so much reflected in the franchise these days that way. No, I know Steve's videos very much. He's gotten a little wacky with his little characters too, by the way, so that's fine. You're an old Trekosaurus from the original series. At least you're not a Freakosaurus, Melanie. Yeah, Discord. I'm still amazed that anybody came up with anything social media with the name of Discord. Although in hindsight, I think maybe it was far-sighted. You had time between meetings today? Is that what you're saying, Glenn? Yeah. Discord is confusing. Doing Facebook and YouTube proper takes up enough of my time. That could be a thing. And Portal End portal. Oh, awesome. You have a Discord for your blog. Okay, cool. See, I'm not on other people. I think I'm on. Oh, Ali has a Discord for the Psych Show and his channel. So he swears by Discord and announces his new bits and all of that. Interestingly put, David, but yes. Support all the Trek you can. We're all that we have. Absolutely. Hey, Christian. Okay, it's fine. A little late, but there you go. Good to see you. Well, there you go. Wait. The Orville is a dormant franchise. I mean, I know everybody's thinking that it's like not coming back for a fourth season, but that was just the last. If you were going to be dormant, you have to be down like 5 years. You have to be down more like 10 years at least. 5 in this fast-changing world. So yeah, Stargate and BSG, I get that. BSG was supposed to have a movie reboot by Glenn Larson that's floating in development hell or something, right? Or did that finally die? There you go. Yeah, the Be Kind message from Pop Culture Hero Coalition chases big nonprofit. Yes. What now? There you go. See, we are more different. We are more together than we are different. The themes. Totally. Someone more focused than Seth should run the production. Yeah. The DCEU is retired. See? The Detective Comics of the European Union is retired, but the DCU is the big stuff done by James Gunn. Okay. That's what I get. Thank you, Don. Thank you for your permission. Probably that's what will happen. Yeah. Okay, you're just going to lose me on the Godzilla. I'm just not a Monsters fan follower, whatever. But you do what you're going to do, everybody. Well, yeah, and not just Wash. That was really, I think that was, we're never going to get to do this again. Or they had a way to bring him back if need be, kind of a Roe Shaw plan B. I don't know. Oh, come on, Christoph. You know how commercial you is. I was shocked how often European stores are closed. The 26th, the day after Christmas, is when people race in to take their stuff back and return it. It's a nightmare. Yeah, the returns day. Oh, okay. I got enough on my plate, but sure, you do you. It's your thing. Well, cool. I hear you, Rockio. I hear you. And logistically, right? Never hurts, though. Appreciate spreading the word whenever you get a chance. Just forwarding stuff you see on socials is always helpful. We had a big year coming back out of the pandemic, and then this year was kind of quiet, aside from the big tours that I did for the cruise. Okay. Got you talking about James Bond. Sorry, gang. Let's see. Oh, Rose, that's very sweet of you, hon. Thank you. Okay, it's happening. We'll do the special Boxing Day edition of Trekland. It's live, end of the year edition, because that'll be the last one, right? Because 7 would be 33, right? It'd be yes. Because Monday is Christmas, so Monday is New Year's Day. Okay. Is the boss of the Discord group at least called Iris? You got me there. Hi, Pat B. Good to see you. Pat, you've been with us before. I'm going blank, but welcome back. Always good to have you back. Let's see. Michelle Hurd for president. I could get behind that. She would run screaming from the room, I think. She might be the president's advisor, but I don't think. Yeah. Yes, Glenn, it's Reboxing Day. Your returns. Well, see, this is why it can be a flexible term. Maybe we should call it Boxing Day. Gonna box to get in the door. Okay, you're exposing me here. I did a quick catch up of Doctor Who ages ago, and then I do not know what the Cartmel master plan is, and did we have something like that in Trek? I have a vague idea what you might mean, but somebody's gonna have to define it to me. Glenn, did you see this? Sean's gonna beat you here. Okay, the end of the chat as we know it. Oh gosh, Sean, you've just got a million of them. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, he's a lot harder to impersonate on Saturday Night Live than Sean Connery. Oh, good. Well, we're glad you got you back. Yay. Comedy, as soon as I ditch you all, I think I will give it a look. All right. Boom. Well, now we got the popularity of the James Bond settled. Who knows what we'll get into on a Trekland Tuesdays Live. Gang, I think that's going to do it for Tuesday. Just want to mention, again, for everybody watching us now, because it'll be, no one's watching this on YouTube edited. The Trek Files is up. Our second episode with the great Aaron Harvey talking about more rejected animated series pitches. Would they work today? Would they work later on? Well, check it out and see. A little guy by the name of Eugene Wesley Roddenberry even pitched some that weren't used. It's kind of cute. Again, if you're curious about a Trekland Trek, or if you're not, but you know someone who would love to do this, please pass it along. Would you please? This is all about sharing as much as it is grabbing. So that's why we can be all connected here on the internet to do that. And once again, would love to have you, if this is something that fits your bill, just $5 or $10 a month in our simple little Patreon. Love to have you. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. Once again, a shout out to all of our Patreons. Thanks everybody so much. It's been I won't say it's been a great year because we've still got another couple of weeks, but it has been a great year. And most of all, head over to my homepage. That's where I've got the 6-month and the 5-month Portal in a Box deal. You can get it to someone. Deadline's the 20th. If you want to give Star Trek to 6 months, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Plus the swag, plus the member pin, and the little card from Gene Roddenberry in the box. It's very cool. It's an actual, real, tangible thing you can have under the tree because virtual is cool. You intellectually know it lasts for 6 months in this case, but it's still not like having something under the tree for somebody. So it's there. It's there. Also, if you're on my page, I have Cameo videos we can do, phone messages and all that. And yeah, the TeePublic shop. Again, the sale goes through the 18th, but the hard deadline for Christmas delivery, if that's important, is tomorrow. So there we go, gang. Thanks so much for joining me on another Tuesday. We will be back next week. Don't know what that will bring us. Looking forward to having more guests, more topics as we get through these gap days before Discovery, at the very least, in April. That'll be something. So everybody stay safe out there, okay? Stay healthy, do all the things. Stay woke, please. Check your sources. Don't waste your energy, and don't pass up a chance to help somebody else learn something they didn't know. Yeah. And trek well, everybody.